Hey y'all, welcome to another video, Living Life with your girl, Stay Hall. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad that you decided to join us today. And you might as well go ahead and hit that subscriber button so that you can become a permanent part of the Lifer Tribe. And then hit that notification bell so that you never miss any new content. So y'all, today's video is going to be a little bit different. I mean, I've done cooking videos before, but you know, it's just not my norm. It's not a cooking channel, but whenever I'm trying something new, of course I want to share it with you guys. So I am making lamb chops today for the first time ever. Always enjoy lamb chops, you know, when we go out for brunch or dinner or whatever, and I don't know why I've never actually tried to cook them myself because I do love to cook, but I think when I've seen them in Sam's or wherever, it's kind of like that rack of lamb, so I feel like I need to have some butchering skills and all that. But I was able to go to Central Market and actually find lamb chops, and so I bought some, watched a couple of YouTube videos to kind of get an idea of how to prepare them, but of course y'all know I'm going to put my own spin on it. The only thing is, I'm used to like the lamb chops with that long bone and they kind of look like mini pork chops, which I did see those at Central Market and that's what I asked for, but I wasn't paying attention when the butcher was getting it together. I just told him I need 5 of those lamb chops, and I guess these were on the same rack and he didn't see, so I didn't get the regular lamb chops. These are Texas grass-fed natural lamb loin chops. So they look a little different. But, you know, I'm thinking it'll probably still work. So we're going to get into it and see, you know, how these turn out. But I'm sure they're going to be delicious. They look good. They're just missing that little bone. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I don't know all my cuts of meat. But it is lamb, and it does still say chop. It just has that loin word in there. So I don't know what that means. Babe, what does that mean? You don't know.
It's different, probably a different cut of meat.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But anyway, I am going to prepare the marinade for these first. Why are you laughing? The husband is producing today. But anyway, I'm going to prepare the marinade for these. So this is just some basil pesto. So it's pretty much just basil, olive oil. I think there's some kind of Greek cheese in this. And so I'm going to build everything from this for the marinade. So here we have some chopped parsley. So I'm going to add that to the pesto. Then we have some garlic. Add that to the pesto. And then this is actually lamb seasoning. And I got this at Central Market. The wonderful associate at Central Market, she was so helpful because I couldn't find lamb chop seasoning and the seasoning out, and that's so weird to me too, in grocery stores or whatever. Like, you have sections for things, but then the stuff that you need isn't in the section it should be, so it leads you to believe, okay, they must not have it, they don't sell it. And I'm not someone who likes to ask a lot of questions, and Wallace gets on me for that all the time. Like, I will be somewhere and I will search and search and search for something, and I will pass 3 or 4 associates and not ask. I'll just keep searching. I don't know why I'm like that. I'm just like that. And so yesterday, because I wanted to really make these lamb chops today and I didn't feel like going to another store, I did ask an associate. I said, hey, I'm looking for lamb seasoning. Can't find it. And she immediately was like, oh, I know where the best lamb seasoning is. And it was over on this little rounder type of rack right at the beginning of the butcher counter, and they had tons of different meat seasonings. So this is lamb seasoning, and it's by a company called My Family's Seasoning Incorporated, and she swore by this, the lady at Central Market. She said they make some really good seasoning. She said they make a really good one for like filet mignon, whatever. So we're going to try this. And she also helped me find the mint jelly that we'll just kind of use as, you know, kind of a little dip per se on the side, because I heard mint jelly goes good with lamb chops. I've had lamb chops several times. I've just never done them with the mint jelly. But the mint jelly wasn't in the jelly and jam and preserve aisle. It was with the syrups, and she found it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and add the lamb seasoning. But yeah, I don't know if y'all are like me, but I don't know why. I just don't ask questions. I will drive myself crazy. But it's funny because I talk about how much I hate self-service. Like, I don't want to check myself out. I don't want to pump my own gas. I don't want to do a lot of other things, but then I also don't want to ask any questions. So I don't know if I don't want to bother people or if I'm just trying to avoid possibly somebody who doesn't want to be bothered and then being rude with me. Like, I don't know what it is. I just hate. Now, my husband, on the other hand, he will ask them 15 million questions. He will look for 10 seconds and then be like, oh, I got to find somebody. Now, this lady just happened to be standing right at the end of the aisle, so it made it very convenient. But Wallace is quicker to search for a person to ask a question than he is to search for whatever it is he's looking for. Ain't that right, babe?
Yep. I got other things to do.
I know.
I sort out, I seek out the people that know where the stuff is at, that work there.
Yeah, that's true. Because she
knew it.
She knew. And even with the mint jelly, she was like, it should be here with all the different, because y'all know Central Market, they had jalapeno jam, they had garlic and apple preserve, like all different kinds of stuff, all with the rest of the jellies, jams, and preserves. And she said, I know we have mint jelly and it's always here. She said, but we also have a mint syrup. And she said, and sometimes when the night crew stock, and that's all they do is stock, they don't, do anything else in the store. She said, every once in a while, they'll misplace something and just put it by something like it. And she said, and I have a feeling maybe they put it by the mint syrup. And next thing you know, 30 seconds later, here she came with my mint jelly. So it was worth it. And since the mint jelly was just something kind of on the side, if I hadn't asked her, we just wouldn't have had any today. But anyway, so this smells good. So I just mixed all that in here together, and then I'm just going to put it on our lamb chops. Make sure it's nice and evenly coated. I'm really excited for this. I hope it's not, I like trying stuff new stuff. But this is just super new because I've never had this cut of lamb, so I'm just hopeful that it'll taste the same, and if it doesn't taste the same, that it at least tastes good, you know what I mean? Because I don't mind if it's not the exact same taste I'm used to, as long as it's good. Because like I always say, it doesn't hurt to try things because you never know when whatever you're trying could possibly be your new favorite thing, and it ain't gonna kill you, unless you are allergic and you didn't know. Or if you choke on it. That's very dark, but I'm just saying, I can't guarantee it ain't gonna kill you, but it probably ain't gonna kill you. So, getting these marinated on both sides, and I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator and kind of let this really marinate for a couple of hours because it's still early on Sunday, and this is for Sunday dinner. So, I'm going to let it marinate for a couple of hours, and then we're going to cook these in a cast iron skillet, so it won't take very long. So I just want to make sure that I get them as flavorful as possible. And so once they're finished marinating, I will come back to you guys with the next steps. But we're also going to have some cauliflower mash with these, with a little bit of cheese and butter instead of doing the actual mashed potatoes, because of course, trying to cut down on the carbs. And guys, your girl is 7 pounds down. So I told y'all I was starting in November all the way through my birthday, cutting the carbs and getting my walks in and all that, and it is paying off. Drinking my water, so I'm 7 pounds down. So even though this is a fun little meal, I don't want to go off the rails. So we're going to do the cauliflower mash, which Wallace loves, don't you, babe?
Mm-hmm.
He hates it. And then I already have some fresh string beans, some fresh green beans going on the stove. So yeah, I'm going to throw this in the refrigerator, marinate for a couple of hours, and I'll get back to y'all. All right, y'all, so these lamb chops have been marinating for a couple of hours, and yes, I still look the same. Today is Sunday, chill day. We didn't go anywhere, so got up this morning, took our showers, dusted off, brushed the teeth, and got on lounge clothes. So it has been a couple of hours and I do still look the same. But anyway, what I want to do before we get the lamb chops going is make the little sauce that I'm going to put on them while they're cooking. But I want to get the sauce cooked first so that it's ready to go. So I already have a saucepan on the stove preheating, and I'm going to mix 3 of the ingredients now, and then the last ingredient we'll add a little later once the sauce heats up. So the first thing we have is just some soy sauce, and y'all already know your girl, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I'm not going to pour all of this soy sauce because soy sauce is high in sodium, and we got the pressure around here. So I'm just going to pour about half, and then we'll taste it once it gets going. So then I also have some garlic, which I'm probably only going to do about half of this. I'll probably add more because Wallace really loves garlic, but we have garlic in the marinade already. And then we have some ginger. And I know y'all hear Wallace coughing and the dogs barking. We got the windows open in the house. You know, you got to do that sometimes, let the air circulate. And plus, I had a couple of issues with my gas stove today. And yeah, Wallace said he was really smelling that gas. But anyway, so, you know, it's a vlog. Dogs barking, husband coughing. But anyway, I'm going to put all of the ginger, because even though ginger's strong, I didn't dice up that much. So I'm just going to mix these together in this little mixing bowl here. And then we're going to take it over to the stove and let this cook down a little bit. All right, y'all, so my saucepan is already preheated. I think it's pretty hot. So the ingredients we just mixed in, I'm going to put, ooh, yeah, it's hot than a mug. So these ingredients are the same ones that we just mixed over there, and it's going to calm down because the heat is on really low. Just kind of let that cook down a little bit. And I already have my skillet over here preheating as well, because in case y'all don't know, that is like a huge trick of cooking, is preheating your pots and pans. Because when you put things into a cold pan and it has to heat, sometimes it doesn't heat evenly. And especially like if you're frying things with a batter on them or any type of marinade that has, you know, maybe chunks of stuff like chunks of onion, parsley, you know, that's stuck to the meat. When you put it into a cold pan that's not preheated, that stuff just kind of falls off, especially if you're putting it into oil. So if you're frying chicken, frying pork chops, anything with a batter, anything with a coating, it's really important to have your pan preheated, then put your oil in, have your oil preheated, and then add your meat or whatever it is, so that that heat instantly seals it. So just a little trick, I'm telling you. I know a little something, something. I may not know how to measure, but I know some tricks of the trade. So now that this has kind of cooked down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add some honey. And again, I'm not going to add all of it because this is a new little sauce for me. So it's much easier to add things if you don't have enough, if you don't have the right flavor, than it is to take away. So, all right. It smells good. What you think, babe? Can you smell it?
Smells real good.
All right, so that is that. I'm going to leave this on low heat for a little while, and then I'm going to grab the lamb chops, and we're going to start those over here. So I'll be right back. All right, y'all, so I have my skillet preheated. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some butter to the pan. And then a little, just the olive oil, yeah. Some olive oil. Y'all know how much that was. And coat the entire bottom of the pan. And once the butter's melted, we're going to go ahead and put these lovely, lovely lamb chops into the hot butter and olive oil. And from everything I saw, you should kind of cook these on like a medium to high heat. So that is what I'm doing, which is a pretty standard temperature. anytime you're cooking, because you don't want things to undercook, cook too low where it cooks on the outside, not on the inside, and you don't want to overcook. So medium to high is a good way to kind of be able to control your temperature. And so now these lovely marinated lamb chops are going to go into our skillet. I'm so excited. I love trying new stuff. And it's so funny, the things that you look forward to eating when you go to restaurants and stuff that you never cook at home and you don't know why, especially if you're someone who likes to cook and cook often. And sometimes I do. Like sometimes we'll get something at a restaurant and I come home and I try to duplicate it like right away, the next day or whatever. That's how I was with the crab soup and a couple of other things. But then other things, I don't know why. And I guess because lamb chops is not something you just automatically see when you're going to the grocery store or whatever. I don't know. So you just don't think about it. But yeah, so I'm going to let these cook for a few minutes on this side, and then I'll get back with y'all when it's time to flip. All right, so these are nice and browned on one side, and y'all notice I put a lid on here because they're kind of thick. So that's another little trick. Put a lid on your pan when you're cooking a thicker cut of meat because it kind of acts as a convection oven and circulates the heat, so you can make sure that the middle is getting cooked as well. Because a lot of times, if you notice, if you don't put a lid on, your side, the upside, will stay pink for a while that bottom is cooking. But once you put the lid on, it kind of lets that heat circulate, so it starts cooking all the way through. Just another little helpful hint, especially when you're dealing with a thicker cut. So you see how we have some browning on this side now too, but the other side is going to be a lot browner. But that kind of ensures that you have a center that is done. And especially with me not cooking lamb chops before, I don't want to risk not having them done through and through. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Turn my heat down just a little more to low than the medium high because we got a lot of heat going on here. And then this time I'm going to leave it uncovered because we already have a side that is cooked all the way. And if you can hear, my microwave just went off. I went ahead and put 2 sweet potatoes in. I decided I'm not going to do the cauliflower mash because it's just the 2 of us. So why do that cauliflower mash when most of it will end up in the trash because I'm not going to eat it all. So I'm going to go ahead and do a sweet potato and copy my baby. So I'll be back with y'all once I have the plate all together. All right, y'all, so everything is finished and looking lovely. We have our string beans, our sweet potato, and our lamb chops. And we researched and says that it pairs nicely with a Pinot. So we've opened a bottle of Pinot. And so I am just going to put a little of our glaze on here. And guys, if you are concerned about the darkness of the chops, you have to remember we used a cast iron skillet as well as butter, but I've already cut one open and tasted it. It is to die for. Our mint jelly, I'm just gonna put a little bit on each plate on the side, just in case we might wanna dip. And then pour us each a glass of wine. And then it will be...
You know, those glasses are, one is like really a lot bigger than the other one, so.
You know what, dude? Hush. I like the shape, but I didn't get 2 of the same size because we have 9 million glasses. But you can have the bigger glass if you like. You know what? Somebody always got to be starting some problems. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I know this video is a little different than what we normally do, but that's a good thing. You got to shake it up a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you try this recipe. If you do, please drop in the comments and let me know how it turned out. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you as a permanent member of the Lifer Tribe. And then go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you never miss any new content. So you all know the drill. Always be kind and be sure to love one another, but never forget to live your life. LYFE. Love yourself.